I'm happy to report that they are in stable condition that allows us and them to focus on what is the most important thing for now, is reuniting with our families.
An emotional reunion in Israel. After more than a year in captivity, 3 hostages were released by Hamas today, the first to be freed in phase 1 of the ceasefire deal in Gaza. Thanks so much for joining us here at 5. I'm John Adams. The families of the 3 hostages had campaigned for their release ever since they were taken hostage by Hamas in a deadly surprise attack in October of 2023, when 1,200 people were killed. The hostage release is in exchange for 90 Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. A medical official said their health evaluations would take a number of days to complete. Phase 2 of the ceasefire will see the release of 33 Israeli hostages in exchange for more than 1,900 Palestinian prisoners and detainees. Yesterday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned Israel retains the right to resume fighting in Gaza if the second stage of the ceasefire proves to be pointless, and says he has the backing of President Biden and incoming President Trump.
It is an outcome of the cooperation between Israel and the outgoing Biden administration and the incoming Trump administration. Since he was elected, Trump was completely committed to the release of the hostages. We spoke on Wednesday. He congratulated me on the agreement, and he emphasized, and rightly so, that the first stage is a temporary ceasefire.
Aid and fuel trucks were seen entering Gaza's Rafah area today, with armed men standing guard near the road shortly after the ceasefire went into effect. This first phase is set to last for 6 weeks. Well, turning now to our local weather. Another cold start this morning, but it turned into a beautiful afternoon with lots of sunshine, and look at that sunset tonight. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is joining us now. And Joe, are we looking at temperatures dropping below freezing in spots again tonight?
Yeah, that's going to be kind of the trend over the next couple of mornings. And this morning, we all woke up to the coldest morning so far this winter, with overnight lows dipping down into the low 20s. Officially, the low at PDX was at 26 degrees. Relatively light winds, but those winds will be picking up tonight and into tomorrow. So we do have a weather impact alert throughout East Multnomah County. That includes parts of Gresham, Troutdale, and especially the Columbia River Gorge, because of that cold air that's going to be coming in. It's going to be feeling more like the upper teens to the low 20s in many spots once you factor in that wind chill. So it's tonight through really basically tomorrow afternoon. Strong winds, gusts up to about 25, 30 miles an hour the closer you get into the Columbia River Gorge. And again, limit exposure. You don't want to suffer that cold air because of being outside for too long. It's not going to take too long for hypothermia to kick in a few spots, especially with temperatures feeling like the single digits to the low teens. That's going to be the case throughout parts of the Columbia River Gorge. So strong east winds pick up tonight. Dangerous wind chill basically tonight through Monday, and overnight temperatures drop into low 20s. But you factor in that wind chill, like I said, this is looking at the Columbia River Gorge later on tonight and into tomorrow. Near Troutdale, you're going to be seeing gusts up to about 25, 30 miles an hour. As we put this into motion, yeah, they're going to be closer to about 30, 35 throughout the early morning hours tomorrow. And it's going to be pretty windy heading into the later part of the morning and into the afternoon as well. Currently, we're looking at temperatures in the low 40s. Absolutely kind of cold out there right now. You want to grab that jacket, but our temperatures will be dropping again tonight, anywhere from the upper 20s to the low 30s in a few locations. Again, we have that strong ridge of high pressure that's going to be in place all week long, but we also have that cold weather advisory in place as well. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you later in the show. Well, it's now been over a week since certain Providence healthcare workers walked off the job due to a labor dispute. Now, Providence is working with mediators with all 11 bargaining units, but it's still unclear how much both sides have to go until a deal is reached. Our Celine Stevens was at the picket line today, where healthcare workers were joined by an Oregon senator. Celine.
John, that's right. And so the strike is still going strong. And this afternoon, Senator Ron Wyden made his way out to the picket line to show his support for the workers striking. Nurses I spoke with say they feel like Providence isn't meeting them in the middle despite returning to the table. And Wyden says he's questioning Providence's latest moves as well.
It looks like they just keep recycling the terms that they've already given. So I have some real questions about whether they're bargaining in good faith.
Sunday marks 10 days of Providence healthcare workers holding the picket line as they continue to demand Providence present them with what they call a fair contract.
We want to be in there providing care. We are the best people to provide care for those patients, and so there's matters at play that can allow us to go back in there, and we're happy to get back in there as soon as we have that contract.
The bargaining unit from Providence Portland Medical Center met with the hospital Sunday, but members say not too much was accomplished, and they feel the hospital isn't willing to meet in the middle.
They sometimes resist that, and they come across as they want to dictate what it's going to be. Providence's position at the moment is they're not ready to give on anything but maybe staffing. So there's a lot of other things that we're talking about.
Still, nurses also said it's huge that Providence is back at the table with all 11 bargaining units, but they plan to keep standing their ground.
We need to show them that we're really stubborn too about not letting our patient standards, our nursing standards for our profession slide.
Senator Ron Wyden also came out to the picket line at Providence Portland Medical Center to show his support. He says he questions if the hospital is bargaining in good faith and says he doesn't think Providence arguing they can't afford some of the demands is a valid excuse.
They certainly spend a lot of money on very high salaries of executives. Given that they do that, they can make sure that workers like these get a fair shake.
Providence said in a statement Sunday that the current proposals from the Oregon Nurses Association are not financially sustainable. As for if there's an end in sight, Providence also said that they expect a lengthy strike. ONA will decide when it ends. Providence also says they are in regular, ongoing contact with mediators at all their tables. They also said while they have retained many substantial improvements in their proposals, including wage increases, they no longer offer the pre-strike ratification bonuses due to the financial impact of the strike on the ministries, a move they said the union was aware of before the strike. John?
Our Celine Stevens tonight. Celine, thank you so much for keeping us up to date on everything going on with that strike. Well, new tonight, police are searching for whoever shot a person outside businesses in Southeast Portland early this morning. It happened around 1:30 near Southeast 148th Avenue in Division. Officers believe one person was shot after getting in a fight with another individual. That suspect left the scene and hasn't been found. The victim is in the hospital and is expected to survive. Less than a day after going dark nationwide, social media platform TikTok has restored service to U.S. users. In a statement, the company said its services were coming back online after President-elect Donald Trump provided assurances necessary to the company's service providers. Just hours before the move, Trump posted to Truth Social calling for the app to remain available. In the time the app was dark, we heard from Oregon students defending why it should stay up.
I use TikTok because it keeps me entertained as well as educated, and the short videos are easy to follow.
I also liked it because it helped me learn a lot about the world, and it also provided a safe place and communities for a lot of people as well as jobs and just having a good laugh.
I tend to use TikTok kind of like a search engine where I look up different ways to do different hobbies that I enjoy, and I've always just really liked the outcomes that comes whenever I look it up.
Trump indicated in his post that he wanted it to be available in order to broadcast his inauguration on Monday, writing that he would issue an executive order to delay when the law that bans the app would go into effect. In Los Angeles tonight, thousands of families are starting to return home after those devastating wildfires. Evacuations now lifted in some areas, while in others, firefighters are still battling the flames. Even for the ones with homes to return to, challenges remain. Smoke damage means everything inside many homes are a total loss. And there are concerns over air quality from both smoke and charred debris.
We don't know what chemical makeup it is, so we don't want that to get into our lungs.
More than 5,000 firefighters are reinforcing crews that have reached 43% containment in the Palisades, and for the Eaton fire, an encouraging 73% containment. The 21 Oregon strike teams working in Southern California continue to support the firefighting effort. The state fire marshal's office said in an update today, our firefighters' focus is extinguishing hot spots, mopping up around buildings, and helping to increase containment on the two largest fires. And it's not too late to help out the victims of the Southern California wildfires. You can donate by scanning the QR code you see right there on your screen. We also have links on our website, kgw.com, and you can donate in person at any U.S. Bank branch. Well, tomorrow at noon, President-elect Donald Trump will be sworn in as the nation's 47th president. Washington, D.C. is busy rearranging events, venues, and security after a change in venue due to freezing temperatures. NBC's Susan McGinnis has the latest on today's events and the plans for tomorrow.
On the eve of the nation's 60th presidential inauguration and Donald Trump's return to power, frigid temperatures forcing the inaugural ceremonies indoors. The swearing in now taking place at the Capitol Rotunda for the first time since 1985. Thousands of law enforcement officers sworn in ahead of the ceremonies, asserting indoors or out, their mission is the same.
To ensure a safe and successful presidential inauguration.
With wintry weather moving in, President-elect Trump visited Arlington National Cemetery. And later, a victory rally at Capital One Arena.
What a good feeling. We like winning, don't we, huh?
This venue also hosting about 20,000 supporters who will watch inaugural proceedings tomorrow on Jumbotrons, a fraction of the near 250,000 hoping to attend. President Biden preparing to move out of the White House, taking credit for his part in the Gaza ceasefire and hostage release.
Today, the guns in Gaza have gone silent.
President-elect Trump claiming his actions sealed the deal. Now ready to move back into the White House with big changes in mind for his second term. With nearly 100 executive orders prepared on everything from immigration to tariffs to pardoning January 6 defendants and restoring TikTok for 60 to 90 days, the president-elect making clear he wants the app active during the inaugural events. The incoming president ready to fulfill campaign promises with or without Congress's okay. Susan McGinnis, NBC News, Washington.